Hey you guys, welcome. It is Monday night and that means it's time for...
I was going to do Kim's top 5.
How long have we been doing this for?
Let's talk about...
I feel like we're on an angle. Look at the wall. Hold on.
No, that's just the painting. It's not straight.
It's one of those houses where nothing is level.
No.
I lived in one of those houses. When I put up curtains, I had to decide whether they were going to be level with the ceiling, the windows, or the floor. And do you know what I picked?
No, what?
No, I can't remember. It was so long ago. Anyway, welcome. It is Monday night. We are here every Monday night. My name's Jeremy. This is Kim. She's the intelligent one. I'm the funny one. Just so that we're clear about our roles right from the word go.
So we thought we'd do something a little bit different tonight. Some of you have probably heard about the 5x5 pledge. Yep.
So, and if you haven't, this is a great opportunity. So tonight we are going to talk about the Young Living's 5x5 pledge, which they started back in 2019, at the beginning of 2019. And so if you haven't heard about it, we're going to talk about what it actually is, which is pretty amazing, I think. And if you have heard about it, we thought it would be a good time for an update just to see how Young Living are going and how we're going as part of it.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm going to roll the music.
Okay. Because I guess, Young Living is more than just the best essential oils.
Yep.
They have a purpose and, so much more going on behind the company. Yeah. So we wanted to tell you all about it tonight.
We're pretty excited.
Yeah. Quite emotional, especially after the weekend. We did a Soul Hope.
Let's talk about the 5x5
challenge pledge.
This is pretty amazing. I don't know of any other companies who do that. The 5x5 pledge. 5x5 pledge.
The
5x5 pledge. 5x5 pledge. Okay, thank you, Salt and Pepper.
Alright.
Now, you probably remember this, but it was the great American psychiatrist and thinker, Milton Erickson, who said, a goal without a date is what?
Probably just a wish or a dream.
A dream. That's exactly what he said. He said a goal without a date is just a dream. And so when we think about Young Living, what was Gary's big goal? What was his big dream?
To get Young Living essential oils in every home.
In every home in the world. That's a pretty massive dream. And the other thing which he wanted, all the way along, he and Mary wanted Young Living to be the leaders, whether that was the leaders in innovation, whether that was the leaders in ethical standards, whether that was the leaders in sustainability and conservation. So that was a massive goal, but that was right from the word go. That was what they wanted for the company. And so that's kind of, for those of us who are involved in Young Living, that's part of our kind of DNA, isn't it? So the 5x5 pledge fits right into those things, but it puts a date on the goal. So do you want me to just quickly go through what the 5x5 were, or you've got them written down?
I think that we can just do it as we go.
We'll do it as we go.
I'm going to do 3 and Jeremy's going to do 2. So
okay.
The first one is 5 new corporate or partner farms each year for the 5 years of the pledge. Okay. So last year in 2019 we did great, right? There was the Golden Einkorn Farm. So when I was lucky enough a few years ago to go to Simeon La Rotonde, which is the French lavender farm, they had just started growing einkorn as a rotation crop. So they'd grow lavender, and then when they needed to rotate the crops, they'd plant einkorn. And einkorn was really taking off over there. So one of the Young Living partner farms last year in 2019 was the Golden Einkorn farm. Another one which we didn't get to see the farm, but we got to see the stuff from the farm, is the new Ocotea farm in Ecuador.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember if it was a couple of 100 kilometres away from Finca Botanica, and it's called Mira Ocotea Farm. And when we were at the Finca Botanica farm in Ecuador, they had bought in the Ocotea and they were steam distilling it. Yeah. And how good did it smell?
If you can imagine like a big double basketball court, concrete floor, and it's covered to about this depth with Ocotea,
steaming hot because it had just been brought out of the cooker.
And it just smelt amazing. So we were eating our meals just near there when we were on the farm. So
yeah. So that was the second farm last year. Yep. The third farm last year was the Kelapay coconut farm, so that we can get some coconut oil.
In the Philippines.
Yeah, in the Philippines. The Finca Victoria farm, which was in Mexico, where they get lime and grapefruit, and the Bella Vista farm in Spain, which Kylie Bryant actually got to go, and the Diamonds got to go to, and see the cistus, the frankincense, and the myrrh. So they were the farms last year. This year, just announced at convention, some of you will have heard about the Desert Oasis farm in Israel, and they're going to be sourcing jojoba oil. So jojoba currently is in 3 of our products. It's in the Mirror Cleansing Oil that, great for taking your makeup off if you haven't tried that. My girls play around with the makeup, and I sent them, they thought, how are we going to wash the makeup off, Mum? And I sent them downstairs to put the cleansing oil on their face, and they were amazed at how good it took their makeup off. It's also in the lavender oatmeal soap and the Shutran shave cream. So far this year, just one partner or corporate farm.
It's a bit
obviously, it's a weird year, but watch this space, okay?
Do you want a bit of trivia? You know how there's like a mob boss called Fat Tony?
No, but okay.
So Simeon La Rotonde, that actually means Fat Simon in French. Did you know that?
No.
Whoever he was. Anyway, okay, so that was the first one. The second 5x5 pledge is at least 5 new markets across the world opening each year. So again, huge call to be able to expand like that. So we now have 32 markets, I think, all together. And last year, South Africa was open. Brazil was, Colombia was open, Macau, Costa Rica and South Korea. So massive markets there. And this year so far, Brazil.
So that's the second one. The third one is actually it's to do with the foundation, and it's around empowering.
These are my favourite ones, the next 3.
Empowering 5 times more, or helping 5 times more people than they had previously in the next 5 years. So last year, many of you will know that Young Living wrapped up their project in Nepal, and so they had to get some new projects, partner projects. So one of those is a project in Mexico, where in Mexico, they have, I think the average is something like 9 years of schooling. Well, in Mexico, it's really, really low because a lot of parents don't send their kids to high school, and they pull them out and put them in employment. And obviously, there's a lot of poverty and things like that in Mexico. So this particular project is around scholarships, and it's not scholarships to pay, like we help pay the school fees for the little girl that we sponsor through the foundation to go to the Young Living Academy. It's a different kind of sponsorship. What they actually do in this project in Mexico is they actually cover the cost of lost income to the family. In order to keep the child at school. So if the family was to pull their child out of high school and send them off and get a job, these scholarships are actually going to pay the family, basically the lost income for keeping their child in school. So that's what those scholarships are. So that's one new project in Mexico. It's called Escalera. I'm not sure if I've said that, but it's part of the REACH program. The second one, which I was really excited about, was Goals for Girls. And that particular project is around through soccer, and my daughter... I was
going to say women's football.
Yeah, my daughter, who's really, really into soccer.
Okay.
Soccer's a great sport for girls. And so what they're doing is actually teaching leadership and teaching women to become change makers, and they're doing it through soccer. So that's another new project.
Where's that happening?
That's in the USA, India, and South Africa.
Wow.
But the other thing they've done is they've expanded some of their other projects. So the lighthouses that you might have heard us talk about before, Hope for Justice, which is around... sort of trying to eliminate child sex trafficking. They're actually expanding that project too. So there's a few projects that they're expanding and some new ones. So basically, since the time the 5x5 pledge started, more than 480,000 people have either been saved through like the Hope for Justice projects, changed or empowered. So that's really exciting.
That's
$500,000.
million.
And obviously we did the shoe cutting party on the weekend, and to help Hope for Justice, which is another of Young Living's foundation projects. If you ever get a chance to go to a Soul Hope shoe cutting party, you should totally do it. I've even been thinking how we could do one online with the team. I don't know whether that'd work, but it was so good. You cut out the shoes. We should have showed you the little shoes. Anyway, I'll stop talking. But that's another foundation project, which is
what
amazing.
What I didn't realise with the shoe cutting thing was not only do you make the uppers of the shoes, but when they get sent to Uganda, the money that you donate actually pays for local people to make the rest of the shoes, to cut out the tyres and put them all together and sew them. So it helps so many people. It's not just like a pair of shoes that you create. It's much bigger than that. Okay, good. Is it me?
Yep.
Am I up? Okay. So the next 5x5 goal is to get oils into every home, and that was another. Yeah, I was going to say another 5 million homes over that 5 years. So that's again a massive expansion, but I was thinking about that. It sounds huge, but it boils down to people sharing with people, doesn't it? So if you share with one person or two, say you share with 2 people, and then they both share with 2 families, and they both share with 2 families, that adds up pretty quickly.
Yeah. And I guess the whole idea behind, helping other people, it's not profit driven to get it into more homes. It's actually to help people. And Young Living just recently changed their whole mission. And some of you may have seen the post that we've done about that. But it's about, a healthy home for all of us and a healthy world for all of us as well. So.
Yeah.
And the last one, which I know Amanda Grist is super excited about, is the zero waste stuff within the next 5 years. And if you were listening in on the virtual convention that Young Living had, you will have heard Matt French, the Chief Legal Officer for Young Living, talking about the idea and where it came from for the zero waste and sustainability policy. And basically it came from one of the other legal officers that works at Young Living, and he obviously does a lot of zero waste stuff in his home. I think they were talking about like one tiny little bag of waste per week.
Half a kitchen tidy bin full of waste.
That's all the waste in their home. So I
can't believe he gets his kids to eat the rest.
And he has 5 kids. Anyway, he was the one who was behind the whole sustainability push. And obviously Young Living built their headquarters, and it's won awards, and it meets like the Globe, like LEED certification type stuff. But the thing is, they've implemented so many recycling programs, and even here in Australia you can actually take your bottles, your empty essential oil bottles, along to the offices in Perth and Sydney, and you can recycle them. You can do that in the States as well. You can take miniature bottles and things like that.
If you have any full oil bottles, you can just post them to us.
Isn't it always the other way around? But they're doing lots of other things. They've bought land to reforest. They're using their farms, particularly planting ground covers and things like that to reduce their evaporation and to offset their carbon footprint. They actually managed to divert 280 tonnes from landfill just between June and October last year. So, they're doing their best in the offices to actually divert landfill. And you'll notice that because the packaging's changing, we no longer get bubble wrap and things like that. It's all that beautiful paper that Julie Garlick showed us how to recycle and how to use. So if you haven't seen her video, make sure you check it out. She made beautiful things. So, and that's the 5x5 pledge. That's the things that this amazing company is doing behind the scenes. So they don't only make great products and great oils, they're caring about the world as well. Do you know what's really unusual? To have a company that's 25 years old, which is having its best year every year. Still growing faster than anyone else, still having their best year. Even this year, I think it's just going to be unbelievable in terms of the impact that they're going to have across the world. Well, 110,000 new members in April this year worldwide, and 128,000 new members in May. So far this year, from the 6 months this year, 500,000 new members. So, Young Living is certainly a growing company. So. Absolutely. If you're not part of it all, man, you should be part of it. The products are amazing, the people are amazing, the mission that the company has is something that you can really get excited about and get on board with. Yeah. All right, we will see you next week where we will talk about something else exciting and fun. And actually, I wanted to show you, look at this. That's one of the things, I don't know if you can see, but it's got oil in the bottom. The foundation, we're selling these as part of convention, and they've got like a little roller bottle in the bottom of it. How cute is that?
I've never seen it taken out.
Yeah,
That's so cute.
and a crystal. Anyway, that's from the
Wow.
foundation. So if you want to support the well, there's none left, but anyway. All right.
You're just taunting me.
I know, but how beautiful are they? All right, we'll see you next week.
See you guys.
Bye, guys.